What? What? What?
Not bad, but I'm gonna get you.
This is another paid request, this time for Joseph. Thanks for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, commentaries, randomness, album blueness, pretty much anything else, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a film called The Young Rebels from 1989. And if I remember to put them in there, we had a scene where in movie making you have the slate. That's left in. And it seems like a scene that was not supposed to be in there. We have sound that will go from there's no sound in the punches to the gunshots that sound like a fucking cannon explosion. Or one of the worst edited fights where you have the background and then it'll cut to a green background. So they must be shifting dimensions. It's the multiverse of madness. Only from the mind of Amir Shirvan, the director of Samurai Cop. Of course, I should have recognized when some of the same music. Because this was made before Samurai Cop. This was 89. Samurai Cop was like 91. And some of the same music would be used for Samurai Cop. It stars some guy that got out of Chippendales. Another person who's in it is Tadashi Yamashita. If you don't know who that is, that's the Black Star Ninja in the first American Ninja. That's like one of the big villains in American Ninja 1 with Michael Dudikoff. So it's kind of cool to see him in a different movie, and he's a good guy, and he doesn't get killed or anything. He's in it in a decent amount. Part of me is like, why don't you just make him the lead? This is not a good movie at all. At all. But you know what? Maybe not as much as Samurai Cop, but it was bad in an entertaining way. I gotta admit. It's on YouTube for free. It's bad, but again, like Samurai Cop, it's entertaining. Because number one, it's more endearing when you have a bad film that didn't do it on purpose. It's just bad because it's so inept and it's so just foolhardy in execution. And that just makes it more sincerely funny. And Eric Freeman is in the film. Eric Freeman. Yes. About 5 minutes in, there's a guy who's a drug dealer with a shotgun. And he lifts his shotgun at one point to shoot. It's Eric Freeman, the star of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Remember the guy? Garbage Day. Hey, Doc. No, was it? Hey, Doc. Red, blue, red. Good color. Yeah, can't do his eyebrows. It's, oh shit, it's Eric Freeman. Sadly, that's the only scene he's in. Why is he in the film more? And Robert Zadar, the maniac cop himself, the guy who was in Tango and Cash, the bad guy in Samurai Cop, He worked with the director before in this film as one of the bad guys. Whose face, someone mentioned his face looks like a cherub. You know, like one of those fat Cupid. His face does look a bit like that, I'll admit. So Robert Zadar, the Face, as his nickname was. And when you look at his face, you'd tell why. And there's a lot of people are dubbed. The sound is some of the worst sound design in a movie because there are so many times where a fight scene happens and half the punch sounds don't exist. It'd be like, pew, 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 pew. And then like a gun, it's like, what the fuck? You got like at one point there's a 4-minute stripper scene. Not that I'm minding because I like the women are pretty and slutty and homely, but pretty. The plot, God, dude, this okay. The plot is because the plots are barely a thing in these movies. A guy owes these bad guys money. Yet the bad guy, his son is played by Robert Zadar, and they have a lot of other bad guys working for them. By the way, this other guy owes money, and it's like, hey, boss, his brother's a helicopter pilot. And they do the dialogue like, hello, boss. This guy, his brother's a helicopter pilot. Ah, yes, your brother's name is Charlie. He was the #1 guy to bring illegals in to America. So then our lead, again, wannabe Chippendales dancer, he tries to help his brother. They do a deal. The deal goes wrong. When look in the suitcase, there's a bunch of pillows in there. And then the bad guys think, oh, these guys fucked us over. The brother and another girl gets killed. And so then our lead and Yamashita, the Black Star Ninja from American Ninja, and a few others help out. And then the plot just, like Samurai Cop, the plot just meanders. With here's a fight scene, here's a shootout, there's Robert Zadar with a naked chick, some more random fights. Aldo Ray, who I remember, he was in the Green Berets, he's been in other stuff. Aldo Ray, he's in 1 or 2 scenes as a foul-mouthed sheriff cursing up a storm, seeming drunk. And there's a lot of ineptness in this fucking movie. There's a bit where a guy's like, oh, let me give you the key. Before you can finish key, the movie cuts. So, like, the guy's in the middle of talking, oh, I owe you, man. Here's the key. And before you can finish key, it cuts to go to the next scene. There's one guy, there's some random bad guy, I swear, has a Jack Slater outfit. Which is funny because it's, I can't say he ripped it off because Last Action Hero came out a few years after this. But I swear there's a guy that has like a red t-shirt and like the brown coat that Arnold as Jack Slater wore. Like, wow, did someone in Last Action Hero, were they watching a bunch of random movies and somehow saw this and said, hey, that's the outfit for Arnold? It's not even one of the main bad guys, just like a random fucking bad guy. This one time our hero gets shot in the back, and when he gets shot in the back, there's no blood. And then when he falls kind of a waterfall, there's like this growl sound. And then he puts his hand up, but there's no blood. But thankfully in that scene, there's a little bit of blood. There's a bit that the bad guys, they try to do a Scarface with a chainsaw. So they chainsaw the guy to get some info. But the amount of blood that comes out on people's faces is about as much as you get from a paper cut. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've never been near a chainsaw to do that, but I believe there'd be a lot more blood than that. There's dialogue like, besides killing Ben, who was my best friend, he also did this to me. Like, they literally have to state, oh, Ben, he was my best friend. And because the movie's so shitty, it doesn't establish anything. And like, again, there's at least 2 scenes where Robin Zadar watches 2 different women get naked and gets to kiss and hump them. A bunch of random firefights and there's bad dubbing in the voices, and I did a lot of punch sounds are missing. There's a bit where the good guy goes in, and there's a guy watching TV, and our good guy like knocks him out. And as he goes through the room, if you listen closely, the sounds from the TV are Three Stooges. Three Stooges sound. Obviously, you can't show it, but you're listening closely. That's Three Stooges noises. I know it because I've seen a lot of Three Stooges. Like, what? And like, Robin Zadar dies, and there's 20 minutes left in the movie. And again, that's when you get like, again, there's one bit where Yamashita is going in, he's going to fight this guy. Then, for no reason, it cuts to outside, and that slate, you know, for before After Effects, you see the making of, they go, take 1. That pops in, and then we're back to inside. The same bit. I'm like, wow, this is like one of the big editing fuck-ups. And like the fight that our lead has with this bad guy at the end. You have the bad guy's background, and then it'll switch to everything's green in the background. And then the regular background, and then everything's green. Then background, then green. Green, green, then background, green. And I'm like, this is one of the worst edited fights I've ever seen. Where this director literally said, it doesn't matter. No one pays attention to the background. This is like Ed Wood level of shit. And you know what? It's actually kind of entertaining on that front. I mean, yeah, legitimately, this is a god-awful fucking film. But you know what? This is one of those awful films that, unlike Razor Teeth, unlike Feeders and Feeders 2, unlike even the Time Machine I bought at a fucking garage sale, whatever that full title was, and some of those other movies, at least there's naked women, at least it's only 80-some minutes long, give or take. At least there's a lot of gunfights. They're not good gunfights, but the director's like, put a bunch of gunfights. And there's just a lot of moments that you just watch and you're waiting for the next part that'll make you like Samurai Cop. Samurai Cop I will put above this because the lead guy in Samurai Cop, I think his name is Matt Hannon. He might have a different last name. I wouldn't say he's got charisma. That's push. But he had a certain look, a certain bit with his voice. And when he talks later that he kind of knew it was bad, he was kind of doing this stupid thing, like doing the Elvis moves, but he was supposed to be taken seriously or the director would yell at him. The lead in Samurai Cop has a bit more going for him, as weird as it is to say, than the lead in this. The lead in this is just... if you're going to be bad, be a bit more memorable. Samurai Cop, with the dialogue he's giving about, it's big. Well, you want a jumbo jet? You know, that dialogue he has with the nerds in Samurai Cop, would you like to fuck me? Bingo. And like the partner going, Maybe that's one of the reasons why this didn't get the cult of Samurai Cop. Plus, I mean, the title Samurai Cop, just Young Rebels is a very lame title, and I don't even know what the hell that has to do with the movie, because no one's really young. I don't know who the rebels are, so why is this called the Young Rebels? It's a very lousy, lame title. Like Samurai Cop definitely stitched there. Granted, there's no samurais, and Matt Hannon is far away from a samurai as possible. Chris Farley was more of a samurai than he was, and Beverly Hills Ninja. But at least the guy in Samurai Cop again, he had, I mean, that one monologue. I'm telling these motherfuckers that they're poison. I remember that. I don't remember a damn thing the lead guy said in this. Again, they should have made Yamashita, the Black Star Ninja. He should have been the lead. I think if he was the lead, you would have got a bit more memorable stuff in it. Or Eric Freeman. I mean, you got Eric Freeman. Do you imagine Eric Freeman if they put him as the lead? But he plays it like Silent Night Dylan at Part 2? He'd be scarier than the villains. The villains would be scared of him. So yeah, the lead is just very bland. He's bad and bland. Like Matt Hannon, he was bad, but he wasn't bland in Samurai Cop. Like he was bad but memorable. Here, the lead is bad and bland. But again, if you want your Samurai Cop fix and it's not as maybe up to par with Samurai Cop, but it's still very bad and what the fuck and laughable. The Young Rebel, I mean, again, same director. This was just his beginning. He was working up to Samurai Cop. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that you kill Robin Zadar 20 minutes before the film's over, that was a mistake. And then I did the lead guy, even in bad style, he just forgettable bad. Samurai Cop Man is bad, but he wasn't forgettable to me. But yeah, I mean, again, a lot of mistakes and tits and firefights that just go on way too long, and people trying their best to be tough, and half the sound effects are missing. It is a movie you would get with someone and laugh at the movie at it. At least it's fun in some way. So that's the Young Rebels. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.